In the past few years, nostalgic things have gotten really popular, and now there's a whole market for it. Surge made a comeback, Crystal Pepsi is returning, Junko jeans are coming back, and Hollywood wants to remake tons of successful movies and TV shows that you would tweet about with hashtag Throwback Thursday. Despite the fact that some things had definite conclusions or ended perfectly, that's not stopping the entertainment industry from wanting to milk more cash out of them. Hey guys, I'm MonstersReview, and today I'm going to talk about, you guessed it, reboots. No, not this one. According to thefreedictionary.com, a reboot, in this case, is a film or television show that is a remake of an earlier production, typically with a different or refreshed viewpoint. So, something like the 2016 Powerpuff Girls would classify as a reboot, because it's a remake of the 1998 Powerpuff Girls, and it definitely has a different or refreshed viewpoint. Ha 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 ha. Also, that new Scooby-Doo cartoon that comes out every 5 years, yeah, that's most likely a reboot. Something like the upcoming 5th season of Samurai Jack, however, would classify as a revival, because they're directly adding on to the original and they're not really remaking anything. Also, a good portion of the main creative influence and cast, aka Phil Lamar, are returning to work on it. In most cases, I think revivals usually turn out better than reboots, because with revivals, usually those series are revived due to popular demand and retain most of the elements of the original. With reboots, however, many of them are the results of corporate interests, and it's pretty common to see them turn out more unsuccessful or lackluster, not only because it might be extremely different in comparison to the original, but also it might not be able to reach the same quality as the original. Many times, reboots are either trying too hard to be like the original or trying too hard to be different. I think it can be difficult sometimes for them to find that fine line between similarities and differences to the source material. Let's talk about Jumanji for a bit. It's a movie from 1995 that stars Robin Williams, and it's based on the 1981 book by Chris Van Allsburg. The movie was very successful, and I'm sure most of you have seen it. Anyway, Sony recently announced that they're going to make a reboot of Jumanji, and it's going to be directed by Jake Kasdan. That's right, the guy who brought you movies like Sex Tape and Bad Teacher. It's supposedly going to star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart because, I mean, what movie haven't they been in? Here's what they had to say about it.
When it comes to a project, I think that's already been out, and you want to reimagine the story, I think it's important just to surround yourself with great filmmakers like we have with Jumanji and take a crack at it. You know, it's not a money thing. It's not a money thing.
Well, that's a load of bullshit.
We're doing okay with money, right? We're doing okay. It's more so we can introduce Jumanji to a whole new generation.
I was gonna say, there's a generation of people who don't know what Jumanji is. I mean, you gotta understand that in today's age, there are no original movies. Everything has been done.
I can't stand the mentalities of these guys. Saying that everything's been done and accepting the fact that there's not a lot of originality in modern Hollywood is a horrible way of looking at it. Everything definitely hasn't been done. There's been a great selection of original movies that have been coming out in the past few years, and I can't stand actors who support rehashing movies like that. Don't get me wrong, if you have a reasonable and rational motive, it's okay to possibly want to reimagine an older property. But this motive is, we want to introduce Jumanji to a newer generation? In my opinion, yeah, Jumanji has some of the typical quirks of a movie from the 90s, but I think it's a timeless classic, and Robin Williams' performance in that film is legendary. Jumanji's only 20 years old, and it's not really that outdated. It's not like a film from the 1930s or anything like that, where in that scenario, there'd actually be a rational reason to adapt it to a newer generation. It's a 20-year-old film and it still stands on its own, so maybe instead of remaking the entire movie to introduce it to a new generation, just show them the original. No matter what anybody says, I'm pretty sure the majority of reboots in Hollywood and television are made for cash grabs. Let's look at Cartoon Network. For some reason, when I've seen people calling out the quote-unquote haters of the Powerpuff Girls reboot, they say, well, you guys were the ones asking for it. Trust me, I don't think I've ever seen anyone asking for a reboot of the Powerpuff Girls. The series had 6 seasons, a few specials, a theatrical movie, and a finale from 2009 called The Powerpuff Girls Rule. There was no good reason to reboot the Powerpuff Girls out of all of the other shows that deserved one. Oh, wait. The Powerpuff Girls was one of Cartoon Network's most successful shows in terms of merchandise. That's why they've already signed several deals to produce toys and costumes and clothing for the new reboot, many of which were signed before the show even came out. Same with Ben 10. The Ben 10 franchise has generated over $4.5 billion in global retail sales. And the show has already had 4 separate series, 4 movies, specials, and a collective 230 episodes. It's not like the Ben 10 universe needs to be expanded or remade, since its most recent series, Ben 10 Omniverse, ended in 2014. But Cartoon Network doesn't care because of the cash. So, now that the entertainment industry is oversaturated with reboots, remakes, and sequels, I definitely have a negative opinion towards a lot of them, especially with most of them being unnecessary.
Shut up and take my money!
Well, I hope you guys liked this. I wanted to try something new for this video, so if you did enjoy it, please leave a like below and let me know your thoughts on reboots in the comments. Also, make sure you follow me on social media at MonstersReview and check out my Patreon for some pretty cool stuff. As always, I'm MonstersReview, thanks for watching and have a spectacular day.